Hey, welcome to the Carol Butler Show, and today it's going to be on the drought in Lake Wylie. And I will comment initially on the beginning footage because I couldn't take my Wi-Fi with me. You can't either unless you want to use up your entire phone plan like Verizon. But today it's going to be on the extreme drought we have in Lake Wylie, and I do have some suggestions for what to do about that. So without further ado, I'm going to start some footage. I will be talking over some of the footage and within some of the footage, and then I'm going to end it with some suggestions as to what you can do. So I'm going to switch the camera away, and again, I'm Carol Butler. This is the Carol Butler Show, and it's on the drought in Lake Wylie. So let me start with my video and me talking at some point. I'm in the car and I'm driving at this point through my neighbor's driveway down to the cove, just to make the point that this is Crowder's Creek, that is almost totally bottlenecked because of the drought. This has been one of the worst droughts Lake Wylie's ever had. Again, I'm in my car. I am wearing a mic. I decided I'd rather talk over myself right now, and I'll pick up in a moment with live talk from what I'm observing. But I even put an arrow to show you in the middle. I'm getting out of the car, so this might be clearer. Where silt for years has been washing down from construction, some of it perhaps natural. Duke Energy did a study on that, and it was inconclusive. But people used to be able to get out of here in a boat. Now you're lucky if you camp the kayak. So the picture on the left is the view from the left of the same cove I'm showing you. And an arrow should be coming in here any moment to show you how far silt and wash-off has come from building and droughts over the years, 2007 being one of the worst. And so I'm going to start talking from this movie any second now. I'm hoping Duke Energy releases more water. That's sort of a close-up of where that silt, where the blue arrow is, has filled up across the lake, and we can only hope, since Duke Energy does control the water level and the number of people who are using it. So we're going to pick up with me talking live some of the water back into the lake again, because it's really troubling to see this happening in the coves, and it doesn't have to happen. See, this is much too fast for, and you'd have to be not looking at the road to see this kind of view that I'm showing now of the shoreline driving by on Hans Mill. So momentarily, I'm going to show you what it really looks like because I'm going to walk to it and hold my camera and narrate what I observe on the walk. But you'd have to be a passenger to look over this bridge walk and see that, ooh, golly, look, the water is low. And then a little bit more trees. All of that used to be underwater, by the way, what you just saw. And I'm going to talk more about this little area. Hope I do a freeze frame soon. But this is, if you're driving through, this is what you would see, and that's the cove I just showed you at the beginning of this broadcast. Hey, Catherine, thanks for joining. Now I'm walking to the bridge to give you a close-up view, and I'm going to talk during this. Okay, part of the problem with the water is the development. This is fairly new. This is along Hans Mill Road, what we used to call it. Now it's Memorial Highway. I'll get to that in a little bit. But this is very close to where I'm going to take you. You can read right side of the bridge. One does not think how totally noisy it is on top of a bridge. This is all supposed to be underwater. All of this, every bit of it. People had boats back here. I'm wearing yellow. I'm standing this far away on the highway. But this is over a bridge on Hands Mill. And this mic may or may not be working because it's just terribly loud up here. But look at that. Lived here 18 years. Absolutely the worst drought ever. Water's a precious commodity. And we should not take it for granted. Without water and trees, we can't breathe, and we wouldn't survive. And yet, look what's happened. I'm going to, at some point, cross the street to show you the other side of Crowder's Creek. Again, this is Carol Butler for the Carol Butler Show, showing you behind me the terrible drought. Okay, I've managed to get across the bridge. Still very noisy. That's the truth. But again, this is where all the animals are getting their water and the fish. And this was once a sanctuary for herons, and somehow or another, the hunters, after 40 years of being a sanctuary, are allowed to come down here and shoot cranes and egrets. But look at that. That is supposed to all be underwater, all of it. And I'll walk a little bit further. I'm walking on a precarious non-sidewalk area. And I used to have a sailboat I took under it, I believe. The lack of water should be up to here. Should be up to here. And the question becomes for all of us, what can we do about this? What can we do about this? Look, even their dock is stuck in smuck. And this goes down even further. I mean, this is a drought in progress, one of the worst since 2007 in Lake Wylie, South Carolina. And again, that landmass crossing, doing that S-curve, was not there 19 years ago. Oh, good. Sidewalk again. But as you can see, a lake that was once full is now divided by that landmass. I wanted a moment of silence for that. I know this mic is probably worthless up on this bridge. It is so noisy. I'm now on this side of the bridge. Oh, good. I've got a reprieve. This is all supposed to be underwater. It is a lake. It once was the Catawba River, which is now split into many different named lakes. Lake Wylie being at one end, Mountain Island Lake at the other end. But we all supply Charlotte, along with Lake Norman, with water. So the more people that move here, the more water that's used. But Duke is controlling the water levels. And I'm hoping you can look down there. Those are deer tracks. And again, that should be water all the way back there. That is, or was, someone's pier. In fact, I know as a child I probably had a boat back in here water skiing. Maybe not over this river bridge, not over this bridge. But look at that. So my concern is for the animals. My concern is that the people are abusing by using too much water and wasting it. I don't even see minnows swimming down below. But as far as I can see, no water. All that was water. So I'm going to walk it up to the other view I had from this direction. I'm going back. I parked up the street. I mean, I just couldn't figure out how to park a car in the middle of the street and not think I'd be hit. And I don't mind walking. It's good for all of us. However, it is a little depressing to see the litter on the side of the road. Something that ultimately gets in the water, and ultimately I feel like I individually, with two other people, had picked up half the trash in the lake. We're almost like the river keepers and river sweep in that we have done it. It all washes up to our front yard. But with lack of water, the trash hasn't been able to wash in because the water's not moving because it's not there. So again, I'm driving this home. Of course, I'm an environmentalist. I recycle like everyone else. And I don't know what to do about this problem. At first, it was a trash problem, but a drought, I'm not sure it's Mother Nature caused totally. Just to make a point, you see the dock over there? Do you think that they could ride in a circle for about 8 feet? They used to come out. I think I had a sailboat that used to go under here, actually. So, this is your water. This is our planet. We need to protect it. Right, again, a little bit closer look. where a dock where once water was, where critters still have to drink. If you look down there, you can see, I don't know, it looks like dogs and deer and people. Unfortunately, I think those are hunters. So when the animals come out to drink, which they wouldn't have to come out so far since the water's down, I think the hunters shoot them. I've never thought that was being a good hunter. In fact, I've always thought hunters should hit targets. There's no deer overpopulation, there's a people overpopulation. Are we going to start shooting people? I don't think so. So anyway, I have to share this. I can't think of a better use for my program than to show a problem that most people are driving by so fast, and conveniently this wall blocks. No water. And if I've referred to Duke Energy as Duke Power, forgive me. So let's look at some of the stuff that will one day show up in the water if it comes back. I'm stepping over glass. I imagine this is everywhere, but when it's near the water, it's not very good. I mean, it's more noticeable. If it's in your front yard, you pick it up, and our front yard has been the entire Lake Wylie, Crowder's Creek, I think, because of how the water used to flow. But I'm going to, I'm just looking over the edge. Things fall out of trucks. Most of the things that go into the water come from Charlotte's sewer. Anything, you know, your basketball falls in the sewer and it comes out here. So somebody ends up picking it up, or some animal ends up choking on it, or something not very good.
Hey,
I can't
Lydia.
break out into America the Beautiful right now. Even if I could sing, I wouldn't be heard over. God, it is so noisy walking. You just don't realize how noisy it is until you get out here with all these cars coming. Oh, good, but if we had a fire, I guess there's some water in that. Okay. So that was my view of our water crisis.
And we're back at me now. Of course, again, I had to do that because there's no Wi-Fi that I can take with me. Thanks for joining, Lydia. I'm going to show something. I do have some ideas about what to do about this, and I am going to show you, if I can get my sound back, sorry, I am going to show you some ideas. But I saw something yesterday, and I said I'd show a snippet of it. And you're going to wonder, what does a pipeline have to do with a drought? Well, in South Carolina, we don't really have a pipeline problem, but all the same, it does impact water. And after all, without trees and water, we wouldn't be here. So I'm going to play this little pipeline incident since 1996, and it's very short. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to give you the solutions that you and I can enact to conserve water and protect this, because without water, I mean, we can't flush toilets, we can't take baths, but most of all, most of us are 75% water. We got to have it. And it's disappearing at an alarming rate. So let me switch and show you what was posted on my Facebook page by David Wolf. And again, this is about the pipeline. I'm going to try and lower my camera and hold it steady so you can see this, and turn my mic.
but this was alarming to me. Eight thousand incidents. Waterways. All right, that's pretty depressing. I mean, I had no idea there were that many. I think once it happens, once is way too many. So, anyway, here are some suggestions. Again, you're watching the Carol Butler Show live, and I'm going to give you some suggestions how you can help conserve water, particularly if you're in Lake Wylie, most especially if you're in Charlotte. Certainly, officials in certain areas can restrict the use of water, like watering a lawn or washing your car, which, by the way, if you use a car wash, uses less water, because they usually, the one in Lake Wylie, recycles the water, so you use less at a car wash than you do washing it at home. And it's just a good habit to conserve water, whether you're in a drought or not. It's good for environmental reasons. I found a really neat way to check your toilet, and I did read about this. You can put food coloring in the tank. This is to see if your toilet leaks, which is wasting a lot of water, by the way. Put food coloring in the toilet tank, and then within 30 minutes go back. Don't flush or anything, but go back and look and see if the color appears in the bowl. And if it does, then you've got a leak. And another piece of advice is don't flush the toilet and use it as a trash can, meaning if you're a smoker, it's not really good for pipes and anything anyway, that Kleenex was not meant to be flushed in the toilet. It has a different compensation than it's composited, I should say, of something different than toilet paper, and it does not dissolve well, so don't ever flush Kleenex or cigarettes in a toilet. And every time you flush, you're talking 5 to 7 gallons of water, and I thought, good God, I didn't realize it was that many. What Catherine, I believe, suggested that a lot of people are doing, which I thought was smart, if you just have to pee, put the toilet paper in a waste paper basket and don't flush. There's no need to. Think of all the water you could be saving, particularly if you drink as much water as I do. If it's just pee, throw the toilet paper in a trash can. I thought it was a great suggestion. And one small drip, again, everything is so shocking to me that I did research, and this program took a lot more time than other programs because trying to edit the footage and get that to show, and also get some information to help, because I don't have all the answers. Again, I suggest that we, as a number of people, like a million or whatever, not in Lake Wylie, but in Charlotte and surrounding areas, if we all made these little changes, like if you've got one small drip from a washer, can waste, brace yourself, up to 20 gallons of water a day. And if you've got a large leak, you're looking at hundreds of gallons. And yeah, I'm shocked over that. So of course, take shorter showers. That seems to be common sense. And don't let the water run when you're brushing your teeth. Fill a small glass with water and rinse your mouth with that. And if you're shaving over the sink, don't leave the water running. Just put a few inches of water in the sink, and it works just as well, and it's much less water. And if you're using, this goes again, it's common sense, but we so take for granted the resources around us, particularly water. Only use your dishwasher when it's full. Only wash your clothes when you've got a full load. And when you wash dishes by hand, don't leave the water running. You can use your spraying device to rinse them after you've soaped them up. You know, it's okay to fill, if you've got a sink with water, and wash everything, and then rinse it with the spray. Another thing is consider, now this won't happen overnight, but you can consider planting drought-resistant grass over your lawn, or meaning overseeding it, or start a new lawn with something. There's something called Eco Lawn. Look it up, ECO-lawn. And if you'll put a layer of mulch around your trees and plants, it slows the evaporation, which of course also discourages weed growth. And when you do water your lawn, do it in the morning. Why? Because it helps prevent fungus from growing and the loss of water to evaporation as the day heats up. And do it when it's not windy, because you'll get a deeper soak. And so here's another little tip that I just love. Put an empty can of cat tuna, or cat food can, anyway, that size can, empty. And that will, when it's full, if you're watering your lawn in the morning, then you've watered it enough. Otherwise, if you just sprinkle the lawn, you're going to have shallow roots and everything's going to die anyway. And so you're wasting water worse than you were before. Try and use a rain barrel to catch water, of course, from your roof. And don't dump. And believe me, I can attest to, and Catherine can, and everyone that lives in Lake Wylie, the river sweepers can attest to this, that everything, if you didn't know this, that goes into a grate, a sewer grate in Charlotte, I don't care if it's a beer can, or oil, God forbid, from your car, you change the oil yourself, anything that goes, that washes off the road and goes to those grates, goes directly into the river. And that's really bad. And we've seen it all. I won't disgust you with what we've picked up for 19 years. And this may go without saying. I don't know how many people would want to take a bath in the lake. But if you do, don't do it with soaps and shampoos, because they have nutrients and pollutants that are harmful to the lake and the organisms that live in it. And if you fish, try and put away those lead sinkers and jigs and switch to non-toxic tackle, because loon, swans, and other waterfowl are susceptible to contracting lead poisoning from tackle that they actually pick up on the bottom of the lake. So I'm going to give you a couple of organizations that you can look into. I hope that you'll write this down or come back and see the end of it, or I'll probably type it in the show notes. But one is go to www.conservation.org, and that's wherever you live, whether you're in Lake Wylie or not. And if you are in Lake Wylie, or you're in Charlotte, you're using water that's coming from Lake Wylie and Lake Norman, go to www.catawbariverkeeper.org. The Catawba River Keeper is an advocacy organization and an education organization, and they protect the water, and they meet monthly. The Lake Wylie Cove Keepers, I believe, is their name. And think of becoming a river sweep volunteer. We've been one all by our little lonesome for 19 years without being a part of that group. And they ride by, and we save them a lot of time because we picked up most of it. So anyway, this has been the Carol Butler Show. Thank you for joining me. Hope you share this. Hope, if you want to keep listening to this program, that you'll go to my website, www.carolkingbutler.com, and there is a place in my blog where you can click on Following the Carol Butler Show, because my big announcement today, and this is really big, and I should have dragged Catherine Gillis up here to be the one to say this, but our next Carol Butler Show, which will be next Thursday, is announcing the week that the course that we've spent 14 months putting together, Become a Fearless Traditional Retoucher and Spotter. Catherine Gillis is a master retoucher and spotter, and it's taken 14 months to put this together. And I have an online school called of courseware.xyz, which will be opening. Of course, it will have to open because we're doing the launch. So we will be announcing the launch date next Thursday. And certainly, I like to think that every show there's something everyone can take away. And today, I just felt an obligation to talk about the drought and what you could be doing, impacting everybody. Everybody can make such a big difference. So this has been Carol Butler and the Carol Butler Show. Thank you for joining me. I'll put show notes up for those organizations. And please comment. If you're not live with me now, comment, ask me questions. If you want to know the answer to something, I'll do my best to get back with you as soon as possible. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find someone who does. So thanks for joining me. Thank you, Lydia, Catherine, and I can't see the rest. Appreciate it.